Welcome back to season 2 of Make My Mayday, the show all about MC2 and Mayday's world. We're moving ever so close to the end of the first volume, and this time we're going to be covering 4 issues. Welcome back to season 2 of Make My Mayday, the show all about MC2.
Whoa. Yeah, what in the world is going on there?
Welcome back to season 2 of Make My Mayday, the show all about MC2.
Yeah, what in the world is going on there? Zach, what's going on? All right. Hey. Zach. Hello. All right, guys, hang tight if you guys can hear me. There are some technical difficulties clearly going on. I'm going to try and get things fixed.
Hi, everybody. So sorry about the technical difficulties.
What in the
Computer
world,
decided
dude?
to just randomly reboot after
Okay.
doing the old echoey thing. So,
Great.
Anyway.
Wonderful. Is anyone hearing an echo from me? Because I'm hearing an echo from me. Are your headphones set, Zach? Or is it on the computer speakers?
Oh my God.
I thought I was going to be the one with the issues today. Huh.
Okay.
I can't hear you now.
So, you can't hear me now?
You're very muffled.
Oh my God.
You're very muffled, like
Yeah,
very far away.
All right, so hang on, let me back. So my computer just cratered.
Died? Okay.
And now it's back, like, but it's rebooting.
Okay.
And decided to completely reboot. So I had to jump on.
All right, take a breath.
So,
let it we'll let it handle itself. That was a weird echo situation, though.
Like, I heard it.
What happened there? No, I know. I heard it. I heard it twice. It echoed and looped 3 times.
Yeah, that was so weird.
It's a demon.
That was the weirdest. You know, like, last time it was you having the technical difficulties, and now it's me. Like,
I mean, I still might have technical difficulties. The roommates want to watch Harry Potter upstairs, so, like, let's see how long this lasts.
So, good Lord. And you were so worried about technical difficulties on your end that I was like, oh, everything will be fine. Weird feedback loop. All right, so
that was
making a mental note.
It's fine. It's fine.
For those that are watching us, yeah.
We're off. We're a little off kilter right now. We'll restart with the intro and everything.
Yeah.
What, want to give us like 2 more minutes for your computer, or
yeah?
Is it gonna? Okay.
I mean, yeah, that would be fine. Yeah, I know I sound like I'm talking. Finkman's going, you sound fine, Kelly. Zach sounds like he's talking out of a tin cup. Yeah, so now it's fixing my C drive. I don't know how long it's going to take. So unfortunately, we may have to just do it this way.
Okay. I mean, up to
Windows
you.
just wants to be Windows.
We can wait till 9:10. Gives everybody a chance to see that we're here, since we didn't promote very well, which I will talk about when we record. Life happens, man. So we're working on things, and then obviously I'm gonna keep pushing the fact that if I don't get my vacation from everything, I will have a mental breakdown, if I'm not already having said mental breakdown.
Right.
So,
and the reason that my sound's low is because I'm having to use AirPods so I can hear everybody. So that's the big reason.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd be really echoey. Otherwise,
that's wrong. I don't know. Yeah, if you guys didn't tune in right at the beginning, there was a literal echo loop 3 times, and then his computer crashed.
Yeah.
And I was stuck backstage. But my mic was on.
Like, they couldn't release. Okay, so they haven't released the group backstage feature yet. They're slowly rolling things out like that. Like, the recordings are no longer deleted after 2 weeks, so I can get them. So that's nice. But yeah, so like I say, I'm gonna just use my phone because I don't know if it'll.
It's fine.
When it's gonna get back on.
We'll handle it. We'll handle it. We want to at least put out an episode. And we've already done the notes. We've worked very hard. So we should.
Yeah, we did a lot of prep work, and I don't want to just say, hey, we're not doing it, because I turned that off. Once, twice, 3 times on an echo loop. Thanks, big one. I'm glad somebody's finding this funny. All right, so let's work that. All right. I'm ready to go if you're ready to go.
You know what? Let's try, because I feel like the longer I'm on, the worse the internet's gonna get.
The worse.
And then we'll have issues. And I need some Mayday in my life, because it's in shambles.
Agreed.
But, yeah. So, all right.
All right. So
count us down.
Coming down. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to season 2 of Make Mine Mayday, the show all about the MC2 and Mayday's world. We are moving ever so closer to the end of the first volume. This time we'll be covering 4 issues, 67 through 70. Before we get started, we want to thank, as always, our Patreons, our patrons at patreon.com/Spidey Network. Vinkman, Scott, Jurgen, and Greg. Jurgen's our newest patron, and we thank him for his support. If you want to join the fun right now, you can go over to the URL on your screen They've got some fun exclusives coming soon. For now, you can listen to the first episode of Voices from the Eyrie, a Gargoyles podcast. Episode 2 will drop soon for Patreon, and we're almost to a launch point for that particular show. As per usual, there's going to be a bit of a disclaimer here off the top. These episodes are live streamed on YouTube, for better or worse. Twitter and Facebook. We take live comments and we'll acknowledge them live. So if you want to join in the fun, join our social medias and stay up to date on our website, spidey-dude.com/events. Of course, I'm Zach Joyner, your friendly neighborhood host and webmaster of spidey-dude.com. And I'm joined by Kelly.
Hi.
Hello,
I'm
Kelly.
here. Hello. Oh, hold on.
For those that are watching us on YouTube, you understand what's going on. For those that are listening to us on the audio version, you need to go watch the beginning of this YouTube clip, this YouTube episode, just to figure out all the chaos. So yeah, hello.
Yeah, hello.
I'm excited for these issues today.
Yeah, it's this episode and next episode are actually a little bit short in comic issues, but that's okay because breaks are needed sometimes, and also it gives us a chance to deep dive. Because I know when I was reading your breakdowns today, so that's when I was adding those notes. I might poke a little bit at you missing some points and some issues.
Okay. All right.
You're welcome.
I was doing my review. I got into my reviewer mode of doing a rundown, and so that's part of it.
It was too fast. So, yeah. It was too fast. There's a lot of things that needs to go on, but it's fine. We'll talk about it because, in fairness, I read the issues you broke down together because it's a two-parter, and
right.
Certain things that I think I was trying to talk about in one of them is really in the other issue, and so I tried to even that out.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it as we're talking because that's what we do. We never always stick to our scripts completely. So we'll be good.
Exactly.
And these are really fun issues. And the next episode will be really fun issues. And then the episode after that will be 75. Which is
75th issue. It's the fact that we've gotten this far is crazy.
It's been almost a year. It's not. I don't even think it's quite a year. When did we first do the first episode? November? October?
Yeah, it was November because we just it was October, November. We just celebrated the 1-year anniversary for Spidey Experience, so that's kind of a thing. We did that yesterday.
We were trying to get a Mayday show up and running at the beginning, and it turned into this instead, which started a lot later. I'm not getting into it. Just saying. Yeah.
No. So, but yeah, we'll when we get to that point, when we get closer to that point, then we're definitely going to have to do a bit of a celebration. I'll go back and double check the dates, and we'll go from there.
Because I'm wondering.
But speaking of dates,
I'm wondering if we can get the last hero standing by then.
Yeah,
it'd be close.
I need to go. It's going to be close. Yeah,
it will. Yeah.
So, speaking of scheduling, and dates.
Did you want me to talk about it since
I
ranted on that? Since talking
about
know
what
scheduling?
I'm gonna let. Yeah, so Kelly likes to have a pretty regimented schedule when it comes to the show. So it's so we can be fair to you guys, and it's to be fair to the audience, and because we don't want this show to not complete its mission, and that's we want to cover everything. So with that, Kelly's gonna kind of go on her spiel. I'll call it a spiel. I won't call it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a spiel. It was just when I was talking about us needing to mention it, I kind of went into what I feel like I need to say on my side, which is just I know we need to promote the schedule a lot better. We need a more consistent schedule. We were doing pretty good until a lot of things happened, which, especially with, what's going on, Zach's literally moved. He's got a new job. That's a lot all at once.
And,
So kind of getting into the groove.
and I'm
Then
not
of
even.
course, sorry. Yeah.
No, I'm living. I'm working in Nebraska, but I moved to Houston,
Yeah. So he
and my
travels
stuff
for
got
work
stolen.
too. So like, yeah, stuff got stolen. I was about to talk
Yeah,
about Parker Luck. I wasn't going to get into that. But he did have some things get stolen.
most of it's
It's been
most of it's been
crazy.
recovered.
Most of it's been good. That's good.
That's the good
That is
news.
very, very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yes.
but yeah, it's a lot of adjustments and a lot of Parker Luck going around. And I know that like right now I'm also gearing up for a much needed vacation because and as much as I'd love to record during vacation for you guys, because I love you guys and I love Mayday, I think I deserve a tiny break after everything I've been going through. Cause like outside of podcasting, which I think I wrote in here, like I'm pretty sure I have and this is like not even honestly this isn't even with guest appearance. I've probably recorded about 80 different shows in the last year and a half, which is a lot, guys. Like
Yeah,
that's
because
almost
you were.
weekly, if not twice. And there was one point I
Yeah,
was recording 3 times a week.
yeah. You were
So
recording 3 times a week. I mean, you were helping out on experience too. You were being a part of that and doing this. Yeah, it was
and there's
and
a lot
crawl
of stuff I was
space.
yeah, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff I was doing behind the scenes for all 3 of the shows that are on at once. Um
Mhm.
And so that and, on top of my already full-time job where I was working, like, and still am basically working about 10 to 12 hours a day sometimes. So
Yeah.
I've not had a single vacation from my day job since I started in 2018. So I would like to take a vacation. Sorry, about that. So yeah, so that's basically it. It's like as much as I love you guys and I love Mayday, I am taking uh recording wise 2 weeks off. I'm taking a 1 week vacation, but recording wise taking 2 weeks off. So the 23rd through the 3rd, I'm not podcasting anything. So not here, not on the
Yeah.
crawl space. I'm not being interviewed. I'm not doing guest appearances on anything. Because I know I tend to do that a lot lately. The only thing that I would say media wise would be like I have a lot of HHN because I'm going to Halloween Horror Nights and Universal Studios. So I know a lot of the Halloween Horror Nights podcasters, and they are really cool, fun people. And so, like, if I pop up on something they're doing while we're there, that's one
Mhm.
thing, but that's not something planned or expected. Because, I can't say never because as we all know, the only reason I even started podcasting in the first place was because I got I got asked and then I just never left. So,
You
yeah,
joined us, and then you became part of the family. Is what happened. See,
just, I every podcast I'm on, I guest and then I just never leave and I don't know how that happens. It just happens.
This this
This
was
is the
the
only
first
show that
time like you.
this is the only show where I was like, this is mine. I stake this claim for Mayday. But yeah. All right. Sorry, Zach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, yeah, it's been a lot chaotic. I do want to answer the question that Bigman said. Didn't lose any of its comics. I did have my trade stolen, and they were
Yeah.
bent. So that was that. That was the only comic related stuff that was stolen. There was some far more valuable things that were stolen. But remarkably, they didn't pawn it off. But they were all comic cameras, so
I mean,
they've been
yeah.
caught.
Yeah.
So
But yeah,
I
so
will tell that story on my personal social, like probably on Facebook. I will tell that story, and you can see
yeah,
it there,
well,
and I might
I
share it on
mean,
the Spidey Dude page.
yeah, well, like I said, it's not that like I don't mind you saying it here. That's not what I was like doing about.
Mhm.
It was just more me looking at stuff. But yeah, it's
Right.
he's talked to the staff, the Spidey Dude staff about this, and it's it's kind of it's harrowing, but at the same time, these guys were like severe novice. Like they were idiots. So thankfully most of it has gotten recovered. Unfortunately, as most idiots are, they don't take very good care of the things that they're stealing. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
You
at least
know
they're
what?
back,
I get
you
it.
know?
Yeah, at least I have them. Because like trying to replace, especially the clone Slugger trades, the ones that are out of
Yeah,
print are that would be pricey. But
it'd be
yeah,
nice.
no, I mean we're
Nightmare.
moving forward with all that, and yeah. So it's one of those things where I'm excited about the move, looking to get a job down there eventually. But for now, I'm up in Nebraska and dealing with weird Nebraska weather.
I mean, hey,
So
you didn't have to
uh,
deal with Ida.
I dodged a bullet there because we would
Which,
have.
guys,
I'd
if
have
y'all are
probably
dealing
still
with
been
that,
down there.
which if anybody's dealing with that while they're listening or watching, I feel for you. I am so sorry. I hope y'all are staying
Yeah, it's
safe,
awful.
and that things are not horrible. My mom lives on the coast. She's had to evacuate the house a few times. It's never fun. So I just
Yeah,
stay safe, guys. I'm so sorry.
yeah. My
So,
I have family down in New Orleans, and so luckily, almost all of them evacuated, and so they weren't directly affected. They haven't been. Some of them have been. One of them, I think, has been back, and his house was okay. Um,
that's good.
they still don't have power throughout
Yeah.
much of the Orleans parish, and
Well,
so
I mean,
the big thing is then.
Ida's making the subways flood in New York
Yeah,
because
this was an intense,
yeah.
storm. I mean,
So it's
the fact that it made all the remnants went all the way up there. Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, it's
So,
this is yeah. So like I said, just everybody's that's dealing with it. My heart goes out. I
hope
feel horrible.
hopefully our this episode, if you're listening to it, because I'm hoping, barring if we're going to work on Sunday or not, I'm going to work on all the audio episodes and get all those updated and get those out to everybody. So our Patreons will get those first. So join the Patreon page, but then I'll have it set up this week to post out. So yeah, so you'll get I think 6 episodes between the two shows, Experience
Yeah.
and Make My Mayday.
Sorry,
So for those that are watching and listening, yeah.
yes. And
Oh,
for
I
the ones
see.
watching, I did
Jeff,
I realized that I didn't have it flipped. There's a Jeff Goldblum
there's Jeff.
sequin. This is what I bought myself for my birthday, since my birthday is at the end of the month. It's like $10.
Yes, happy early birthday
Thank you.
to my
It's my
favorite
birthday
Mayday,
month.
Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's your birthday month.
It
Yeah,
is.
so that's kind of more or less what's going on.
Yeah,
You know,
but what I was gonna say though is like, we're gonna try and get better, but we can't make promises right now on when we're going to record. We are playing it very much by ear and by what we can handle each week. So
yeah.
we will do our
The biggest
best.
things is
Yeah.
if you turn on notifications for Facebook and if you turn on notifications and subscribe on the YouTube page, you're going to get notified when we're going live. I will try to get as much done early in the week when I know I'm going to be recording as I can. But it's been pretty chaotic because we were traveling this week, and all of us took a week off up here, and so we had to travel back up, and so the logistical nightmare that has been this week, work wise. So,
Yeah.
we're just,
So
we're trying to do our best.
yeah.
And, but yeah, those are going to be the best ways. Obviously, following us on our social medias, at Make My Mayday on Twitter, at Spidey Radio on Twitter for me, and at Make My Mayday on Twitter with Kelly. That's going to be an easy way for us
Which
to be able to quickly send out a message.
Yeah, which right now I know my Twitter is full of Halloween Horror Nights, but look, I want my vacation. Okay. I want it.
You're gearing up. So if you want to be entertained by her Halloween Horror Nights, go follow her on Twitter.
By the chaotic
But
energy that
yeah,
is Halloween Horror Nights Twitter, which honestly is very similar to the younger Mayday fans. So it's all good. It's all fun. But yeah,
exactly.
we'll
Bigman,
try to record next week on the 9th and on the 16th. It's just if we don't hate us. We are doing the best we can. And then I think the next thing we've got before we start is news, but there's not really a lot of news. I think the major thing
there's
that
a reason
everyone's
that I put
talking about,
news.
yeah,
I put news as a question mark.
news. Yeah. So as some
So
people do know, Dark Ages came out, and there is a spider baby, and that baby is named May, but it is not our Mayday. And I know I've seen kind of a bunch of weird things, like just offhand remarks about it. And I just want to like throw this out there that like May has had the most like variants, since I guess that's what we're using now. Variants in terms of spider kids in alternative universes. So this is just another one of them. This isn't our May at all. Dark Ages is definitely not World 982. It is not the MC2. It is its own little world.
yeah,
And I think trying to impose that on a new character that's being clearly written out in a story, so try to like impose our Mayday on that is unfair. Just like it would be unfair for somebody to take, which I've also seen this happen. For some reason, the name is a Marvel X, like the X series, and put Venom May, like impose Venom May onto our Mayday, because those are two completely separate characters. They have completely separate lives.
yeah. That
It's a completely separate variation because it's a variant, and I feel like I don't have to explain that anymore because everyone watched Loki. So you get it. If you understand Loki and Sylvie,
yeah. I haven't.
you get it. And that's
Yeah,
all I should have to say. If you understand Crocodile Loki, you get it. So calm down. So that's kind of like my
there
only
you go.
little thing. Because I
I
feel like
I hadn't.
there's too much. Everyone just associates any spider baby named May with our May, which is very flattering and awesome because she is the best one and the longest running female superhero title that Marvel has had, but it's not the same character. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah, yeah. And so, I mean, yeah. Uh, all I have to add to that is it's an alternate universe. I'm glad that they're throwing us a bone, like you say.
Well,
And thanks,
from
Tom Taylor, for acknowledging
yeah,
that.
from what
Yeah,
I'm seeing though, it looks like Tom Taylor, like he knows his history, he knows what he wants to write. This isn't like it's an Elseworld, it's an alternative universe, it's a what if comic. It's a different take. It's kind of like right now Marvel's got Amazing Fantasy mini going on, which I'm not getting into on my opinions because I have some opinions about some things on there. But the thing is that's it's it's different. It's just a different world. It's a different story. It's their take on it, and I'm cool with that. Like I'm cool with that aspect of it. It's just I don't know. It's a little weird to try and force yourself to connect the dots to make that work. And I feel like that's what I've seen on the internet a little bit. And it's okay for things to be a variant of each other. It's two the two of the same characters don't have to necessarily be the same. They live different lives, the different experiences. I mean, my goodness, we
yeah.
love saying that it's a different Mayday and it's not our Mayday in Spider-Verse. So, you know, That's
Yep. Yep.
it is what it is. Even though
So
sadly that part's not canon. We can believe it, but it's not canon, guys. She was in Spider-Verse.
there's reasonable doubt, Kelly.
No, there's not.
There's reasonable doubt.
We'll talk about it.
No, we're going to talk about it pretty extensively when we get to that point.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, I won't go into the second part because after I wrote that out, I kind of got my feelings out. But basically, just because I'm seeing an uptick in cosplays with Mayday, don't be a dick to other Mayday cosplayers. If you are listening and you are a Mayday cosplayer, anybody can wear the webs, and I feel like trying to monopolize just on cosplay in general is a little bit of a weird move at this point. But yeah,
exactly.
don't be a dick. Everybody can wear it.
Don't be a jerk.
Everyone can share it. We're all good here. Be a good person and think about what Mayday would do when you're in the webs.
There you go. There you go. So now it's time, before we get started with the actual rundown. I've titled this what was going on with Marvel at the time. So we always try to give the background of what's going on when we do our reviews.
I also want you to mention a fandom thing, because that was one of the things I got you on. Because you talked about someone's first appearance, but your original notes for this before you wrote this was there's not really much fan history here.
Okay, yeah, I know. So there is someone's first appearance.
Jeffrey gets you for this.
They're gonna get me. But okay. Yeah, my first note was, oh, there's not much history. And I'm like, oh wait, this is right around the time of this particular thing. So times are kind of in this dark, weird phase.
Okay. Do you want to wait do you want to wait to discuss the Chris person when we get to that issue? Should we wait on that part?
Okay.
Okay, we'll wait on that part.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait on
something.
that part.
Okay, good.
Yes. No, that yeah, I will talk about that more. But times are kind of just in general, times are kind of in this dark phase again. After the last moment save, things started to kind of feel right, but behind the scenes, there was a glimmer of hope, and we didn't realize it at the time, but it was a big glimmer of hope. The Marvel Digest program was starting to begin. Scholastic had teamed up with Marvel to produce these digests. Spider-Girl, Runaways, and Sentinel would be the 3 digests that were going to be published and released starting in cover date, the month of April cover dates. The title's going strong. And however, there was some rumblings of a name change that were starting to percolate. And I'm going to get onto that and talk about that more next episode.
Yes.
But for now, I turn it over to Kelly because she's got the first recap. So Kelly.
The first 2, yeah. So we're going to start off with issue Spider-Girl 67, titled Monsters. And it is Tom DeFalco, Ron Frenz, and Sal Buscema. So cover date was February 2004, and it was released December 3rd, 2003. We start a little bit differently on this issue. Instead of May with her narrative, like we're kind of living her life, we are in Nancy Lou's home, where her parents are fighting. Her father wants to send Nancy to a special school where she can be trained to control her abilities, where her mother wants to keep her family together at all costs, even if that means moving. Nancy is just really hurt and scared by everything that's going on. And she knows her family wants the best for her, but she's just feeling really guilty about being the cause of all this turmoil and, beating herself up because she let her anger get to her, even though she was defending herself. And sometimes these things can't be helped in that kind of moment. She just feels really guilty about it. And, she also just knows that there are other monsters lurking in the shadows waiting for her to lose control. And we see a group of people in hoods standing outside her family window, essentially, like across the street at a street light. We cut to the next morning in Forest Hills at the aftermath of the birthday party for May, as May and Peter are cleaning up. Peter tells her she missed one terrific birthday party, but May tells him she had spider business and didn't even know about the party, so her missing it really wasn't her fault. Peter goes in about how making deals with the black tarantula will never end well, and how May could have, how could May even make a deal with crime lords anyway? And as much as May tried to tell her dad that her reasoning, about her reasoning, he's really not willing to listen to it as much as just lecture her. And May just really isn't in the mood for this, and she's got to go to school. So as she backs away, puts on her coat and bag, Mary Jane walks over and tries to soothe things over a little. While Peter does have a case about the party, it's not like he's ever missed something in the name of, it's not like he's ever missed anything in the name of spider business before. So it's kind of jokey, just let him be mad. He's done this too. So then Mary Jane asks May what she wants for her birthday. Mary Jane wants her to pick out a really special gift, as 16 is a very big deal. That kind of makes May feel a little down. She knows it wasn't wise to make deals with people like the Black Tarantula. I mean, what kind of hero does that? And on top of that, it's not like her social life is doing any better. She just quit the basketball team after everything with Nancy, and she's on the outs with Davita. And, we know she's been crushing on Normie, who clearly does not want her, as he's with someone else. So May just feels like her life's a mess right now, and she could really use a change, but she doesn't know what to ask for to start said change. So at school, the gang finds Nancy's locker completely defiled, with a dummy that kind of looks like Nancy stuffed into her locker with a noose around its neck and a banner that says Muty. Almost everyone in the gang is horrified. Even Heather, who is mostly in the background and doesn't speak here, still has a little bit of shocked eyes, and we all know how much she likes keeping her cool demeanor. So that kind of shows you everyone is shocked except someone. So Moose says that he wants to beat anyone up who could do stuff like this, which I feel Moose, because same. And again, we're all team Moose. Then Jimmy is really beside himself and kind of in shock on who could ever think of doing something so cruel. And JJ is just jonesing to clean this mess up immediately so Nancy doesn't see it. He doesn't want her to know that this happened. And Brad is just kind of agreeing with it, saying that it's appropriate and it was bound to happen at some point. And, we know that Brad isn't the smartest person by any means, or the most kind, even though everyone keeps saying he's such a nice guy, TM. But, he's really not the most kind. We know he's kind of seen May as an object and dating in general as a status symbol, like most I guess most high school boys, at least from when I was in high school. And of course, Brad thinks it's only a matter of time that this happened, because Nancy, someone not like himself, attacked a normal girl like Davita, and has basically gaslit himself into believing that Davita didn't cause the fight, even though I'm sure everyone knew by now what had happened, and they even try to correct him, and he just doesn't want to listen. JJ goes right into rightfully defend Nancy, but does it in his own JJ way, which, as we know, generally causes the two of them to fight. May tries to break it up so neither get hurt and, make it all worse. But JJ takes this as May taking Brad's side. And as May is at her heart and at her core, she generally just doesn't, she doesn't want to really see the truth in her own face sometimes, especially with people that she trusts and likes. And she gives Brad the benefit of the doubt by trying to say we're just, maybe that we all don't understand, the group doesn't understand what he means, right? Like, he's just not making himself clear, right? But, Brad doesn't really answer that outright, and instead says that he's thankful for May standing up for him, and when she asks for the clarification, like point blank clarification, he instead uses it to ask her out for a cup of coffee. Says he'll talk it over with her if he'll go out with her, or if she'll go out with him. And May's a little uncomfortable with that, obviously, and tells Brad she's not sure if she can and backs away. As she's walking to class with Courtney, she expresses how she really feels, which was a huge yuck. I mean, Brad did, and like she says, Brad used to hate crime to ask her out. Like, that's gross. I'm just throwing that out there. So May explains her disgust and confusion to Courtney, who tries to give Brad the benefit of the doubt again by saying he can't be anti-mutant. He's a nice guy. All right. And Megan Brady, our favorite Sony property, comes in and reminds us all that nice guys can not actually be that nice when people aren't looking. She tells Courtney and May that some of the football team plans to give Nancy a really hard time tonight, and she's a little worried about it. Courtney wants to tell Moose immediately, but May and Megan aren't really sure if that's the best idea, since we don't know if they're just playing around or if they're being serious. It just worries Megan. And May asks to keep it between themselves as Sandra calls her over. Sandra and May have a talk about how she's doing, and Sandra, in her own way, thanks May for being there for when no one else really noticed and was there to what was going on. May, thanks to her spider sense, notices that Howard is stalking Sandra, but seems to walk away when he noticed Sandra talking to May, and now she feels a little bit guilty because it seems like Howard is afraid of their talk. May heads to the restroom to compose herself. She isn't too proud that she used her powers on a normal kid, even if he is a mean piece of work. And even if he tried to punch her and she was defending herself, it really just doesn't feel fair. So Davida comes in and sees May, and Davida tries to make small talk, but uses Nancy's locker as small talk and how it's gotten out of hand. May lets her emotions get the best of her and slightly takes that out on Davida and tells Davida that this is all her fault. May beats herself up at the outburst all day, thinking about how she should have handled things and thinking how she definitely needs a change. So May changes into her webs and decides she needs to help safeguard Nancy, but makes a little trip to the hospital on the way to check in on Normie. As she gets to the hospital rooftop, Raptor is also heading to meet Normie. May is still feeling hurt by her rejection with Normie and is feeling jealous of Raptor. And in one of my favorite pages to kind of give a visual representation of jealousy, May sees Raptor as some kind of monster, even though she knows that isn't true. Brenda offers to go in together and all hang out, but she can tell Spider-Girl is looking a little weird since May is uncomfortable around her right now. May makes a lame excuse and bolts. So she doesn't even go to see him. She literally sits down on that rooftop, gets really, really upset at the sight of Brenda, and backs away, much to probably a very confused Raptor. Nancy is getting nervous about meeting the gifted school that offered her a scholarship when her powers first blossomed, and I almost said flowers. She never saw herself as a mutant, and as much as she knows her family is here for her and supports whatever decision she decides, this is still a lot to handle. She goes for a walk to get a better grip on her nerves when she runs into a bunch of idiots with hoods over their heads, like earlier. They are clearly here to harass her. There's 4 boys from the football team, and they're all friends with Davida, and they're there to make Nancy pay for her ruining the girls' basketball team's success, since they might have to forfeit the rest of the season. Nancy is scared. She wants to defend herself, but she knows if she uses her powers to do it, if she loses control in the moment, she could hurt someone, and she doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to let herself be turned into a monster. Thankfully, she gets a little help from our friendly neighborhood metal bug man. All right. The Buzz is there to save the day and also inflate his ego a little bit about Nancy's type of man. Way to go, JJ. Buzz really lets his anger get the best of him while his suit, he uses his suit to make work of these high school bigoted jokes. Nancy tries to stop the Buzz from hitting these kids, saying it won't change their minds. But JJ, being JJ, isn't thinking things that much through. Thankfully, Spider-Girl is finally here to break up the fight. Buzz is pretty upset. Spider-Girl is stopping him. He tries to tell her that he heard that what they were planning to do to Nancy and why he feels justified, but Spider-Girl just webs up his zappers to prevent him from using them on normal kids and kind of stops the conversation. As they fight, because Spider-Girl is having to physically hold Buzz back from going WWE on this one cloaked kid, we find out that this kid is Brad. And to quote May, her Brad. JJ, who's known Brad's true colors for a while now, tries to make him feel remorse for this botched possible lynching by asking him what would Mayday think if she knew. Brad laughs at this and basically says May would never believe the Buzz, which, okay, I don't know. Here's my thing. Even if they were completely separate people and May's clearly not sitting there watching this happen, if I saw a vigilante that I did not know come up to me to tell me that this person I know has done bad things, I'd kind of believe them, because why would a stranger lie? Especially one that's clearly been saving people. I'm just throwing that out there. Like, Brad's an idiot. Anyway, to get back to that, which, yeah, so this is really, May's really shocked by this. And really shocked by how Brad's acting and how flippant he is and very much set in this bigoted way. You know, this also made me feel like how Brad and JJ talk normally to each other. So I'm not sure if Brad is just like really that arrogant, or if he has any inclination, like any suspicion on who the Buzz might be. Because he literally talked to him the same way he talks to him as JJ and just about anybody else. So maybe it's just he's just that much of an arrogant prick, but it's a little, it was something I noticed about it being a little weird. Like, there's no respect there at all. So yeah, so May's pretty gutted by seeing Brad's true colors, but she keeps herself pretty composed under her mask. Nancy is really annoyed by the Buzz because she said no violence. She wants to break that cycle, and Jubilee and the X people show up and agree with her. They think that that's a pretty smart idea. They were heading to the Luz to talk to Nancy about going to their school. Buzz is pretty adamant on not wanting Nancy to go anywhere and almost turns this down for her, which, look, JJ, like, I get it. Like, he doesn't want his girlfriend to leave, but it's kind of her choice. Like, he's kind of being slightly like Brad here by speaking for her. And it's not made clear in this issue if Nancy knows everything about JJ. So, like, for all we know, this is like some strange person in a metal suit telling her no, which is a little awkward, a little uncalled for. Just throwing that out there. May as Spider-Girl does agree that Nancy shouldn't feel like she has to leave, but also makes it clear that, that's Nancy's choice. Very more diplomatic, responsible. And that, if she does want to stay, that people like Spider-Girl and Buzz can protect Nancy if she wants that. Nancy advises she isn't really afraid of people like Brad and other bigots. She's more afraid of herself and not having complete control of her powers. She needs to do what's best for herself and her family and for her future. And right now, it looks like going with the X people is the best choice and the right choice for her. May changes out of the webs and goes to meet Howard to apologize. May advises that she's sorry for almost breaking his hand, that she shouldn't have reacted in violence about the pain and the abuse he's caused Sandra, because that doesn't really help to resolve things. It doesn't help break the cycle of violence. Howard tries to gaslight May and twist things around about how he's justified in his actions, and May doesn't listen, doesn't really want to hear his flimsy excuses. She just tells him to get some help because surely he doesn't want to grow up to be a monster, right? May calls her mom. She knows exactly what she needs for her baby step towards change in her life. And, what will help her take back a little bit more control of her life lately. She knows what she needs. She knows what she needs, and MJ is more than happy to oblige. So we later see Peter asking where MJ and May have been because it's been hours. Mary Jane tells Peter that they were at the salon and to get ready for a big surprise, and it wasn't her idea. May comes in looking quite like her mother, mirroring the splash page in 52, with a new hairdo and hair color. And that is the end for now. So, Zach, what are your thoughts on this issue?
As I mute myself.
Are you frozen? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can hear me.
Okay, great. Yeah. I was like, holy crap.
No.
Not more.
No.
Not more issues.
Not more issues. So we finally, we have referenced the Brad heel turn for a long time, but it's here. It's in full view. Brad is, as Venkman put it in the comments, he said, everyone say it with me, Brad is trash.
It's true. I just want to say that it's one of those characters where we couldn't just like pretend for a bit, because this is a huge issue on that. Like, you hate him after this.
Yeah,
like, you can't forgive him for this.
I remember first seeing the Friends of Humanity in the Peter Parker run with Howard Mackie during the post-Clone Saga era, and so that was kind of like my first time because I was only a Spider-Man fan during that period, and I never read anything else. And so to read this later on, I do feel those vibes and that particular. It's disgusting to see how some of these fools out there think they can do this and that's okay. It's not. Thanks, buddy. It's DeFalco and friends do a masterful job at conveying the issue, and this is where long-term world building just works. May is shaken, but the reader is too. It's incredible work, and of course, Brad's the worst. We just wanted to scare her. You saw how she reacted last time? She being Nancy. What makes you think she won't break you this time? Like, she doesn't have control of her powers, and you're going to sit there and go attack a mutant. You are a damn fool.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, there was a delay. But
yeah.
So for F's sake, Brad, you don't. You're a fool. Kelly, I give you the floor.
Yeah. So I think my main takeaway from this issue ultimately is how we see that even though May is feeling like her spider powers are a burden towards her personal life, certain pieces really do help her and make her who she is. Because without her spider powers or her double life, she'd never find out about Sandra. And honestly, I think a part of the reason why she does notice Megan a lot more is because of her spider sense.
Right.
And so the thing is like that actually, like, to help Megan feel seen is very important, as we know about Megan and about her backstory. I still don't think she's a mutant like some people think, but she could be. but I don't think so. I don't think she turns invisible like that. I think it's just her mom and her family life is kind of bad, so she feels invisible.
Yeah.
And then, when with Sandra, like, I mean, May basically saved Sandra's life, and we'll see this later too. Like with Sandra, we're not done with Sandra, but
Oh no.
really, but no, but like, you know what I mean? Like, honestly and truly, had May not been in that bathroom covering up her bruises from her fight, she would have never had that interaction and saved her. And this is as May. But like, I know teen May does not see this. I know that this is something that would like probably be thought back later. But it's kind of those little things that even though she is very down on herself, she's not quite seeing the strength that these things can have in her life too right now, because
Oh yeah.
everything does kind of feel blah, which I feel like I totally get it.
Well, she's a
But it's just,
teenager.
yeah, but it's just something I noticed because like even Courtney never noticed Megan before.
Right.
So as much as personal burden and responsibility, it Spider Girl is her strength too. I also said earlier, like, there is one of my favorite visuals to kind of show jealousy in this entire subplot, or the sub arc with this is very, very good on how to show jealousy and also how to manage your jealousy the right way. Because May never really acts on it and kind of really works internally with herself on why she feels this way. Which is really what you need to do, because jealousy is not from somebody else. It's from you. It's in you, and you have to figure out why. So
Life in general is about choices, and it's okay to feel those things. It's okay to be envious. I'm incredibly jealous at everybody that got a Galactus. I couldn't get one because I was moving 600 miles away. You know what? Priorities. I'm very jealous, but you know what? I'm very happy that got funded, and that there's going to be so many people that get so much joy out of it. So it's all about mindset, and you can let it be negative or be positive. If you got a negative situation in your life, if you can turn around and make it a positive, it's always a good thing. So you're absolutely right. It's jealousy is okay. Just don't be a jerk to other people because you're jealous.
yeah, no, and like what I was gonna say, because I do agree with that, but like what I was gonna say though is just the entire sub arc where May's feelings change towards Brenda, and how
Yeah.
she struggles to be Brenda's friend while also dealing with her jealousy and resentment over being chosen over, is really brilliant, because like I said, May really doesn't act on these things, but she does struggle with it, and we get to see her struggle, which I think is a very human emotion, and a lot of things that we all deal with, especially as teenagers and growing up. And honestly, most adults still deal with it, and they don't know how to deal with it appropriately. So it's a mess. So this is showing you a good example of how to deal with it appropriately, which is keep it internal and work it out. Because it is on you. It's not on the other person. But
Be like May
I
and
just,
not Davita. I mean,
yeah,
honestly.
because Davita's jealousy, and we'll get into that because that's a part of the story. Davita's
Right.
jealousy with Nancy hurt Nancy, and honestly, it hurt Davita, and it really broke up this friend group. And it can cause issues. But yeah, no, my thing was just, it's like, this is a really good thing to kind of just show, like, it's okay to be jealous of somebody. Like, it's okay to feel this way. It's not okay to act on those emotions sometimes, like, unless they're justified. And like, May knows she's not justified if she acts on them, but she wants to, and we get to see her kind of think that out and go, man, I really wish I could do this, but I know I can't, because that wouldn't be right. And it's not okay to hurt others just because you're hurting, and that's kind of what we're getting here. So
Yep.
yeah,
So let's go into issue 68 with that.
we're definitely going to try, because I'm already telling you things are getting very robotic for me. So hopefully I don't drop or slur
You
or
sound
sound
great.
weird.
So you sound great. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to go mute.
Well, we say that. All right, there we go. All right, so Spider-Girl 68. The rules. Info, cover date is March 2004. Release is January 7th, 2004. We start off where May is feeling alive and in the zone, flying through the air with her webs and saving people from oncoming traffic, as a friendly neighborhood web slinger should. That is until this ungrateful little snot hadn't have acted like a big old jerk and not only downplayed the whole saving him so ungratefully, also tried to come on to Spider-Girl. Yuck. May is still steaming when she hears gunfire and decides to check it out, running into the buzz, busting up some bad hombres. Spider-Girl asks him what's with the excessive force, and Buzz explains that he's trying to find Dr. Jade, the scientist who used to help Doc Ock. Spider-Girl offers to help, but Buzz explains that it's a bit personal and he will not fail again. He can't fail again. And I want to say, see the Buzz Mini for more insight on that, right? Was it? Yeah. Feels like it's been forever ago. So we cut to JJ walking into the Jameson residence to find his grandfather waiting up for him. He apologizes for coming in so late, and Jonah asks if this is acting out because his parents are coming to visit. JJ says no, he's excited, but it's kind of implied that these visits are clearly not normal, which makes me really feel sad for JJ. The next morning at school, Coach Thompson tries to talk May into rejoining the basketball team now that the heat has cooled down about Nancy. May says her decision is final, and Coach Thompson lays the guilt on thick about her responsibility should lie with her friends, counting on her skills for basketball. May walks away, and Courtney is concerned since May used to love the basketball team so much, but May stands firm that she has her reasons for quitting. They meet with Moose and Brad before English, and while Courtney wants to go over her notes for class, Brad wants to lay it on thick with hitting on May, which causes some awkward feelings from May. And, she used to have a crush on him, but after what happened with Nancy, she can't really stand the sight of him. As Brad tries to guilt May into spending time with him, JJ basically body checks Brad and they get into it. Courtney tries to break up the fight, but Brad uses slurs against Nancy and that just makes JJ enraged as Brad is tearing into it. May pulls JJ away into the stairwell. The bell rings and now both are late for class, but that seems pretty minuscule with how overwhelmed with anger JJ seems to be. May tries to get JJ to open up and talk about it, but JJ says guys don't rat out other guys, which I have some thoughts on that phrase when it comes to guys like Brad or like Howard, but all right. May pulls JJ into a hug and asks him to please keep his anger in check while she bugs him with a spider tracer. The next day, or the school day passes without incident, though the Tarzan twins, as she calls them, that's Brad and JJ, were eyeing each other during lunch. This is gonna end badly, and May feels it. She wants to give Brad the benefit of the doubt and let him explain himself, but what she saw was pretty damning and kind of kills the fire her crush had. And JJ can be a hothead, sweet puppy 1 minute, raging tiger the next, and then there's the guy that got away, which, all right, I get high school girl thinking here. Totally do. But he was never hers to lose. She had a crush and she kissed him while he was seeing someone. And that wasn't even his full reasoning on rejecting her. Because he went, Brenda, age, oh my God, your dad. Those were his reasonings. So that was like a third
All of which
his
are
reasoning.
valid.
They're all very valid.
Sorry, May, you're in the wrong on this one.
It's just she's like the one that got away all because of Brenda, and it's like he literally was like this legal issue with our age gap, also your dad. Those were 2/3 of that reasoning.
As someone that was in high school, even I understood. Yeah, no, that don't, nope, that don't fly. Like, I was in high school
okay,
during these.
some, and some 19-year-old, 20-year-olds would be jonesing for that. So
Oh, trust
we
me,
applaud Normie for not being gross
Normie,
and being a
yeah.
groomer. Yay for being a normal person. Anyway.
Yeah, God. I got so many. Never mind. As a dude that went through high school, I can tell you stories, and it just will make your head spin. And it's like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, no, it's just really, like I said, it's a funny antidote. I get being in high school. I totally get where she's coming from. I've totally felt this way when I was around her age. But come on, like, let's look at the bigger picture here. So anyway, May goes to the medical center to check in on Normie, and of course, Brenda is there. She wants to celebrate the good news with Spider-Girl that Normie is being discharged soon. May wishes she could get justification for hating Brenda as much as she wants to right now because she just wants to pull her hair out and steal her boyfriend. But that's kind of hard to do when someone's being so nice. So May spends some time with them, feeling like she's really two-faced for making small talk when, she really just isn't okay with seeing Brenda and Normie together right now. And she then heads back to swing around town and see what's going on with JJ. Using the device to track the spider tracer, she uses her since her spider senses can't. She finds that JJ goes into an unmarked van and comes out as the Buzz. Interesting. In the van, we see JJ and Richie talking about what Richie has been doing as the man in the chair, trying to find Dr. Jade, but it's a little hard when an evil genius is trying to kill you and your friend and steal your friend's suit. But they devise a plan, and Buzz flies off. Meanwhile, at some sports pub, we see that Flash has invited Peter out for drinks, hangout time. But really, it's because he needs to talk to Peter to help convince May to join the basketball team. While it seems Peter may know May's real reasoning, he knows he can't divulge it to Flash. And Flash goes on about how if he can't get his top scorer back, he could lose his job. All thanks to Nancy. And he even mentions, he's like I even knew she was a mutant to begin with. Peter wishes he could help. It's a very awkward situation for Peter. Honestly, I think it's an awkward situation. Like, this is a very awkward scene for me.
Where I get it as someone that has a family, although we haven't seen much of his family yet. Obviously, we haven't seen Eugene yet, or Gene. But I get it, being worried when everything is tied to the success of a sports team, and if Midtown is as rabid as I see, like with football here in Texas, or where I'm in Texas, where everything is dependent on the play on the field. It really does suck. And so I understand this scene probably better now than I would have when I first read it. That makes sense. So I get what you mean. It is an awkward scene. It just, but I get it from a storytelling standpoint too.
Well, I mean, my thing is, I understand where it comes from in the story, and when the first couple times I've read this and stuff like that, it totally makes sense. It just, as I'm trying to write it out like this for my breakdown, I realize how awkward this scene really is in this. I mean, in the story anyway, it's already awkward. Like, we're putting Peter in a very awkward position, but story-wise, it just, I don't know. It feels a little awkward in the middle of this bigger story that we're getting into.
Yeah, agreed.
If that makes sense. At least trying to explain it when you're doing breakdowns. So, meanwhile, some goons break into a lab, and Buzz finds them and starts to beat them down. The goons do mention Dr. Jade, so Buzz knows he's following the right trail. May follows Buzz and finds a drone, a very high-tech drone, especially for 2004, so May knows Dr. Jade has to be a major player, even if she barely remembers her. May reminds herself that she's just doing this to help make sure JJ doesn't do anything he'll regret, and, well, it looks and sounds like he's on a verge of a major meltdown. Doesn't he realize the damage he could do in his suit if he lets his temper get away from him like this? At the mall, Davita runs into Brad. Brad is just so thankful to Davita for exposing the mutant that Davita starts to tear up as she starts to realize what her outburst stands for now. She realizes her actions by acting on her anger have kind of made some not so nice people rally around her, and she walks away from Brad's arrogant tuchus, as I wrote, his arrogant butt. And she's got tears in her eyes. Like she's starting to realize that like her acting in anger did a lot of damage. So we cut back to Spider-Girl finally rushes in when she sees that Buzz is going to keep at these goons even though they are down and begging for him to stop hitting them. Buzz, in his anger, can't even see that this is a trap. Something even Spider-Girl missed when she focused on trying to get her friend to calm down. Uh-oh. Turns out the whole thing was a trap from the beginning. From the goons faking being knocked out, the break-in, this was all to capture the Buzz, and May unwillingly helped. Richie is telling Buzz that his system is down and he needs to reboot from that zap from the drone, but it's kind of unclear here if JJ heard it as he's kind of lights out. He's not moving. The goons manage to start lifting Buzz up using the drone while some goons are keeping Spider-Girl busy to prevent her from saving the Buzz. May sticks her feet firm to the wall and holds onto the net as they have Buzz for dear life and they're trying to get on like this helicopter. She figures that she has to hold on and maybe the pressure will tell, maybe if she keeps the pressure on it, it'll pull the netting apart. Though this does seem dire and it does seem very, very hard as May is sweating and it is hurting her. She starts to get pretty dizzy when she finally manages to free the Buzz. With his systems back online, he gives a piece of his mind to Spider-Girl, and it's not a good one. He feels like her unsolicited help bungled his whole mission, and he tells her to butt out next time. Even though he asks if she's okay, he doesn't really thank her for helping, wanting to save him. A goon reports back to Dr. Jade about failing their mission and blames Spider-Girl. A cloaked figure behind her with metal arc-like tendrils calms Jade down, by telling her they'll soon get the battlesuit and subtle revenge on the little web slinger. And that is the end of that issue.
Yes.
For the next one.
So I love the opening scene. I could see a guy getting rescued, trying to be macho and make the moves.
It's so gross.
Unfortunately, I share a room with one such guy. But May just spectacularly handles it. And her, like, smashing the basketball, like, the best. Like, the look, like, the facial expression that Ron gives her on that is just the best. The irony of her then dealing with JJ is not lost on me, because, like, JJ was always trying to do the smooth moves, and obviously there's more to JJ than that, but seeing that and like the way those scenes transitioned was really, really well done. Poor Flash. I feel he wants his team back. I get it. I also like the fact that we're seeing Peter and Flash interact. We didn't see this enough, I think, in the MC2. It's something that I wish would have happened more with the two of them. They just have always had, like, especially at this time where they were becoming really good friends. I just feel like that should have happened more. Facial expressions of JJ and May in this issue are subtle, but they're amazing. And JJ is awesome. Don't get me wrong, but he really needs a way to direct that anger. At least May knows his heart's in the right place, but it's really excellent character work by DeFalco and friends here. And I just, to me, the way May plants the tracer also works. It's a great way to tie those two worlds together. And the anger is palpable within Buzz. It's easy to see. He thinks he's justified, but it's not justified. because obviously it
Well,
becomes sloppy. He's justified in terms of
he
his anger, but
he's just he doesn't understand, just as a teen too. He doesn't understand that he kind of needs to take a step back and look at the bigger picture.
agreed. Yeah.
He doesn't think things through, which, you know, the reasoning skills, most adults don't develop that part of the brain until around 25. I think it's been proven that like some men even develop it just late, like it's later. It's probably more around 30.
Yeah.
You know, I know that feels gender-ish, and I don't want to do that because I'm sure there's women too that have it late, but like it just doesn't happen
There's been
until like your mid-20s at least. So
there's
it's
scientific studies that back up what she's saying, for the record.
Yeah, for the record, but it's just, you know, I also can understand that like we can't really define that just by gender alone.
Everybody's different. Everybody, you know,
Yeah.
their experiences are different. You know, some people develop it sooner, and some of that's environmental, some of that's, you know, genetic. It's just there's all sorts of factors that goes
like
into
it's a literal thing in your brain. Like the reasoning skills in your brain that's the last to develop. So
Right.
that generally doesn't develop until your 20s. So in general, like he's not thinking with a clear reasoning. He's not stepping back and calming down. But the thing is he is a superhero with this suit that can kill people.
Right.
And so acting off his emotions can be bad.
I love how DeFalco and friends don't forget, even though they're adults, they don't forget that they're writing a teenage boy. And he's reacting as a teenage boy would react. And, you know, my final note on this issue is simply the fact that May's grit shines through again when she's ripping up all that machine, all that netting and stuff like that, and it's really hurting her. She just continues to gut through it, and it's on full display. And that's one of the best parts of the character. So, once again, kudos to DeFalco and friends. So, Kelly, that's all my notes. Did we lose Kelly?
But okay, there we go. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Again, internet is giving me so.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to try. Hopefully you guys can hear me because things sound very, very robotic. But I think like most of my quips were kind of in the breakdown, but my thing is like, yeah, May tries her hardest, but the buzz does have a point here. Sometimes May doesn't see the bigger picture either. And sometimes, you know, you aren't meant to be the main character in this drama or this story or anything, even though this is her book and she should be all the time. But, you know, this is his story. This is his fight. And she's kind of really trying to get involved when he didn't want her help. I understand Buzz from this angle because Spider-Girl doesn't know the full story like the audience does, like Buzz does. She asked to help. He didn't want it, but she's still coming in anyway. Like she knows better. And since she doesn't have the full story, she might not actually know better. And it is kind of like undermining Buzz a lot and not giving Buzz that respect. You know, she does mean well, as does JJ and everyone else in this issue, sans Brad. And it's hard because as I wrote here, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Sometimes, you know, this is kind of an example of that. May is thinking only about her friend and wanting to help without really knowing that full story and that bigger picture. And it basically just pissed off a very powerful foe that wasn't involved before. Just because she messed with her girlfriend and now she's here. You know, and really, how are they going to get out of this one? Because it's actually made this worse. And now we'll go to your issue. And if anyone makes a joke about this number, I'm going to hurt them. You're muted.
All right, Spider-Girl number 69. Those who hunt monsters cover the info. This was all cover dated November 2000 or March 2004. November, where did November cover? March 2004, released on January 21st. So just 2 weeks after the last issue. Our issue opens with John and Ashley Jameson at the Kennedy Airport unloading some very expensive equipment, waiting to go through customs. They've not seen Jack or JJ for a while, and they don't realize that they're being followed. Dr. Jade is here again with a mystery person who has Otto's arms. Last time we saw Doc Ock, he was on life support in the Buzz miniseries. We then cut to the opening splash page with Mayday at school, dressed in her green turtleneck, and is approached by a guy named Chris. But she needs to defuse the situation first. JJ and Brad are fighting, and May jumps in the nick of time. Tony, Brad's friend, was upset by this turn of events, and Brad is trying to deflect. May obviously is uncomfortable with the situation and brushes Brad off, using JJ, saying they have a study date. JJ and May walk in on John and Jonah, arguing over the situation concerning what's going on with them. Back at Forest Hills, May is feeding Benji while talking about the situation to her parents. Cutting back to the Jameson house, we then get Jack trying to understand the situation. John and Ashley want to bring JJ back with them, but while Jonah wants JJ to stay with them, John leaves, but JJ's head is spinning. Of course, Jonah offers to try to go with John, but John declines, saying he can do everything himself. We cut to the airport where John is attacked by multiple assailants, and John almost gets the best of them, but not before a tentacle ends the situation. He's been kidnapped. The next day, May learns what happened at school by Courtney and Moose, and Mayday decides that she needs to sneak off to make a phone call. It's Dark Devil, and he's going to investigate the kidnapping, but he's going to do it in his way. But in a voice not familiar with May, she says, "The ends justify the means." Jack, of course, trying to get a explanation from his mother, she finally decides to tell him the truth. Back in the DeMatteis era of Spectacular Spider-Man, Ashley Kafka was working to help cure homeless people who were mutated by Baron Zemo. John and Ashley had worked with success to cure them, and so this was the reason that John was kidnapped, that they're assuming. Later that day, May meets with Dark Devil, and May is shocked at his results. Now, these guys have all been beat up and they're broken and bruised. Nevertheless, the ends justify the means, right? They get the answers they wanted. Jade is responsible, but they don't know much else. So May starts swinging around in a daze after calling the paramedics and helping the injured. She's lost in thought when she's interrupted by a flame of a spider face in the sky. She leaps down to see what the cause is, and that's where she meets Chesbro, a small man who works for the Black Tarantula. May is really confused, given the fact that Black Tarantula is, a villain. But he gives her a note detailing Dr. Jade's whereabouts. May takes it reluctantly and swings off. John is playing dumb with Jade as May arrives, still questioning the means of how she got the information to begin with. Just as she's about to leap into action, John starts screaming in pain when the Buzz arrives. May takes out some goons, and then just as she's about to stop the process, she's attacked by Lady Octopus. Buzz takes on Dr. Jade again, and we are interspersed between the two battles. Buzz is trying to save his dad, but Dr. Jade nails him from behind. May is about to leap onto some goons, when she leaps out of the way, only to get smacked by a tentacle. Buzz is almost down for the count, but just in the nick of time, things are rebooted. Buzz gets the upper hand. Meanwhile, her transformation begins. Buzz is too focused on John to be knocked out by Jade. Lady Ock wraps her arms around May and electroshocks her, taking her out. So after the two heroes come to, we get this issue's cliffhanger. The Man-Wolf is back, to be continued. Kelly, your thoughts? Hopefully. Maybe. Yep, Kelly? Kelly, you there? Muted.
Sorry, I'm here. I'm here now.
There you go.
I'm having to reset my part of my Wi-Fi part to try and get you not as robotic so I can understand you. I think I'm being throttled personally at this point. Yeah, because now you're frozen. Yay! Anyway, okay, so you just finished, right? So it's my thoughts
Yes.
now. Okay. All right. So yeah. So we forgot to go over a certain special character. And so what I wrote here, like you because this is back when you didn't put in the fandom part of the notes and then you went back and you did it, but I wrote, you literally have the notes. There isn't much fandom history in these issues yet. Here is Chris Joker's first appearance. And I hope the people that he is based off of tease you mercilessly for this.
If you want to see,
they're not important in the fandom history when they have a character.
Okay.
Talk about him.
So he is based off of John and Jeffrey. John is where the name Joker was his screen handle on the Spider-Girl message board, and the appearance is more or less based off of Jeff, aka Jeffers, who is one of the moderators on the Spider-Girl message board. And if you want to see what they actually look like, you can watch episode 3, I think. 2. Episode 2. Yeah. So it's an amalgamation of those two wonderful human beings, and I glossed over it when I was writing my notes, and he is that it will come up more and more. So
he will come up more and more.
I will let Kelly continue on her thoughts.
I'm just saying I know I wasn't going to show you mercy there, so I hope that there is some merciless teasing in your future from that. But 2, I do love this issue highlighting more on JJ and continuing that Buzz mini a bit. This is Jack's real full circle moment for his character, and rereading this, seeing the little bits of what does make this character so special. And, like his friendship with Courtney, we really haven't seen since Courtney and Moose got serious, is nice because, she's one of his heads of floating guilt there when he's thinking about leaving. There's May and Courtney, which really shows too, to JJ, she's not just girlfriend material or like a status symbol like she is with Brad. Like, he really does care for her and he does have feelings for her. It's just they tried and she kept ditching him, and he wasn't going to wait around for that because he didn't understand that. And I think that that's ultimately very fair. JJ can come off like an arrogant jerk, but he is just a kid who hasn't had the easiest life thanks to being a Jameson. And, I think it's really fair not to pursue a relationship with someone who isn't making the time for you. And so it's really good to see that at least like he's being taught that he's worth that. Which I feel bad for saying this. I feel like I'm just like, we're all I feel like I'm slightly hating on May, and I'm really not. Like, we understand what's going on.
Right.
But you have to understand it from his side too. And he does have anger issues, but they're very justified, especially when you look at his backstory and you see what's going on and you see everything that he's dealing with. I just like being able to kind of see that backstory and see what we could get. And I wish we could get that with other characters we love so much and get that definite proof of why they are the way they are. So that's my notes. All right, now you go. I'm sorry that I'm delayed.
No, you're fine. He is a Jameson after, so, anger is in his blood.
Yeah.
For me, my notes are really simple. Obviously the artwork's fantastic, but the use of continuity without editors editors notes always fascinated me. Especially at this time when continuity by editorial and in general was seen as such a hindrance. I remember those spec stories, especially if you want to reference specific ones like Death of Vermin. But it's for new readers, it's really explained very well. For longtime readers, they'll understand the reference, but they don't have to go back and read those books. If you're a new reader, you can completely understand the story with the way they write it here. This is how you do that. This is how you do continuity well. Manwolf has always been he's always been a bit of an eye roll for me. However,
Okay. Mhm.
here it's so well done. I know how big of a fan of horror you are. And as someone who has never been a fan of horror per se,
Mhm.
I really appreciate the way they do things here. And I just, in general, I think Buzz and Mayday really just fit here. It
Mhm.
feels like the team in general is starting to hit its stride, and I think having Ron back on to do these to draw these issues with the Buzz just makes it that much sweeter. And like I said, the team is just in general is hitting their stride incredibly well.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, it's this entire story is like the color and the artwork and just the story, and like it's all very gorgeous to look at, and it's a really good, compelling story. Um, we said this in the beginning too, that like we probably weren't going to really touch a lot on the artwork and stuff like that, and really, really work hard on the lore and the characterizations and kind of deep dive into those, because of the fact that like if we were to just talk about the artwork, it would just be like how much we love it and how perfect it is and how nothing
right.
ever compares to it.
Mhm.
Um, even
And it
even
would
if people say it's a little cartoony, it's still gorgeous and awesome, and I love it. And yeah, so like it's
exactly.
all we would be doing is just talking about how amazing everything is on that. But yeah, we do have to mention it here because like the coloring here is really, really gorgeous, and really
It is.
complements the the beautiful art, and the
Mhm.
beautiful ink and everything else. So it's really great. I do want to slightly rebuttal you a little bit on that, saying that this is horror, because yes, Manwolf originally started out as horror, and yes, werewolves can happen to be in a lot of horror movies, but in this case, this is a lot more sci-fi.
That's fair.
Because to me, horror done right, like, not to quickly sidetrack this, but we are in spooky season. As the moment pumpkin spice lattes are out, it's spooky season. So horror is really just kind of like it's a take on emotions and using your fear of certain things and certain tragedies and emotions, and kind of really delving deep into that, using analogies that can be supernatural, can be sci-fi. So this does work as that. It is a like this is most definitely body horror. But
Right.
it's definitely more of a sci-fi horror genre of being forced against your will, like John was, into changing into a monster. Um, you know, but this is kind of what makes and this ties it back. This is kind of what makes our conclusion to 70 so compelling with JJ, because there's a certain scene where he's using his emotions, and he tries to he he lets his emotions not get the better of him, but to try something different he hasn't been trying these last couple issues. And that does tie into a lot of horror stories where your hero has to overcome certain obstacles that they start with, or certain traumas that they start with in the beginning of most horror. So
Yeah.
with that, let's go to 70 and see what JJ learns.
All right. So, Spider Girl number 70, When the Abyss Looks Back, is the name of the book. Info is cover dated April 2004. It was released on February 11th, 2004. So our issue opens with the Eye of the Tiger, or excuse me, Man
What?
Wolf. The wolf, the man wolf, that is. It doesn't look too grand for our heroes, but Jade just really wants her suit back. Buzz is still limited from last issue, but he's decided. But Richie decides to call in reinforcements. Dark Devil, Goblin, and Lady Hawk are on their way. Uh, May makes some cracks about a new sport, and this, May leaps up and she, you know, stretches her muscles out and is able to get free just as Jade blasts at Manwolf. Buzz is freed by his gauntlets being overloaded, and then suddenly May has her own team of people. Everyone is confused, including the reader, and we learn that they are a private security force who are ordered to help May and eliminate threats. We also learn that they are working for the Black Tarantula, and they fire. Uh, May dodges. May shoves them as he fires, and it just barely misses Lady Ock. However, it does destroy the control module that she was using to control Manwolf. This causes Wolf to start acting a little bit differently for a moment, but he's very confused. And Buzz is almost eliminated in the patented Buscema punch type of way by Jade. Not by Jade, by Manwolf. May helps Buzz get to his feet, and he gives chase. Lady Ock and Jade decide that this is the time to make their escape because they didn't know that there was a whole team of, mercenaries that were at Spider-Girl's disposal. They're obviously outnumbered. May orders those mercenaries to stand down, make sure everybody gets gathered up from when the authorities arrive, and specifically not to hurt anyone. The warriors are outside as May leaps outside, starting to battle Ock, while May decides that she's going to go after Jade. She's obviously a little shamed because, Ock kind of might mop the floor with her quite a bit in this last issue. She takes Jade out in flight, and we are cutting back and forth between that and the Manwolf terrorizing the city. Buzz is just so desperate to help. Buzz wants to reason with him, but Richie's not feeling it, thinking it's a bad idea. We get a cut to a big splash page of Jade versus Mayday, and we cut to the other battle with. At one point, Buzz decides that she's going to do what Spider-Girl would do and try to reason with him, try to use his logic and use his connection with John to try to talk him down, because that is what Spider-Girl would do. He's, May finally gets the upper hand on Jade and takes her out. And just as she's ready to declare victory, Ock is back, and she's making it known that she's learned the mistakes of yesteryear. It's looking pretty bad for Mayday, but Ock decides that she's going to be pragmatic. It would be too easy for this to end. And, like it or not, she was saved by Mayday, so she's going to let her live. For now. She then throws her into a brick wall. This kind of shakes Mayday up quite a bit. And Buzz, starts to think he's making some progress. But no, the programming kicks in and he starts to attack. It's looking bad for Buzz. But then May leaps in, while talking to Wolf about the situation. She's lamenting the situation, of course, because her job is to keep the monsters at bay, no matter the cost. Buzz scolds her for the situation and takes his father away after Mayday takes her out. May's pretty upset and starts to walk off. But later, May then meets with the warriors, and Dark Devil is sort of lecturing May about getting involved with a man like that, aka Black Tarantula. May has no clue what's going on, but she thinks that she can find out. So she goes back to that rooftop where she met Jebro and finds flowers and a note. Quote, "Well done, my love." Confused yet? Because May sure is. The end for now. Kelly?
All right, so you clarified some things from where I was like, hold up. Yo, but I do want to touch on, since you didn't really touch on this, though, is just in the scene with Lady Ock and Spider-Girl, we hear Lady Ock talking about the deceased Dr. Octopus, and her whole "we're two women who come from great men" speech is really there, and it's very important in Lady Ock's reasoning. for kind of letting Spider-Girl go, because she does feel
That's
this
true.
kinship, so to speak, with Spider-Girl. And, Spider-Girl did impress her by not dying and being so easy to kill like she assumed.
Right.
So there's a large part of there, because she kind of feels like, oh, well, we came from great men. We are of the same cloth. I will let you live for now until I come back, which is very Doc Ock in its thinking, like in the way that she
There's a
thinks.
lot of pragmatic way things with Otto over the years. It's definitely the same way it's kind of translated now with Lady Octopus. This is probably one of my favorite. This and Hobgoblin are my favorite Spidey villains that get turned into MC2
Yeah.
villains.
She's a good callback. Like Lady Ock is a good
Absolutely.
callback. Now, and to me, I will say, I don't necessarily know if Dark Devil was really lecturing her as much as kind of interrogating her here, because
Yeah.
he's really like, what the heck is that? And of course, May is like, what the heck is this? Like, they don't know what's going on. It's just Dark Devil is being Dark Devil. I
Right.
think I said Daredevil earlier, and I'm sorry. I meant Dark Devil.
Yeah.
But yeah, all she did was make this deal with Fabian to stop the gang war. This wasn't a part of this. This is not something she agreed to. She
Right.
has no clue what's going on. She just thought that making that deal was the best way to peacefully end the gang war, to save Dark Devil, to catch Mr. Nobody, who, had shot Normie. This was just, she did have to make this deal with the devil, so to speak, which I know should not be said lightly in a Spider-Man comic, and I'm sorry. But, it's just, she had to make this deal, and she had no clue what this was turning into. And she's just as confused as everybody else. And then during the fight, when she did command these guys, she just was thinking quickly. She was like, I don't want anybody killed. Like, please stop. And then this is really unwanted attention that May, again, doesn't know what to do with, because she is a teenager. And I'll probably get into an anecdotal story from my own teenage years about this later, as we further get into this weird crush and idea Fabian has about this whole situation. But I just want to preface that, she doesn't know what to do, and she didn't ask for this when she made her deal. This isn't on her, and I want to make it very, very clear how much this is not on her, and this is not May's
Right.
fault. Her making that deal has nothing to do with this, as much as it will kind of get blamed on her like that, and that's not the case. Because like I said, as we get into it, it is easy to blame and say, oh, but May made this mistake of trusting him, and none of this is that, there's always this responsibility on our part to know better. But the thing is she is a teenage girl. This is a grown man.
Yeah.
And he knows what he's doing, because he's pulling his power against her. This is a straight up power dynamic, and he will do this consistently throughout his little story here. And I just want to make sure that is very clear, that none of this is her fault.
Yeah, no. When we kind of get more into where they're directly interacting again, I'm going to tell. I'm going to probably take some time and explain the lore. Black Tarantula is probably one of those characters that out of all the MC2, it's really good to go back and read those DeFalco issues dealing with Black Tarantula and how the history of the character. And yeah, it's explained here and there in bits and pieces.
Well, I mean, Fabian grew up in this mindset, so
yeah,
we kind of learn later. It's not that he's not. I would never call him a really good person, but it's not that he means well in what he's doing. He just doesn't understand that what he's doing is gross.
Yeah.
Is a gross power play. Although he kind of also does. We'll get into it. Things always aren't so black and white in terms of people's rationalities. And I think that that's a large part of what goes on with him. He knows what he's doing, but you can kind of start to see that towards the end, maybe he starts to have a bit of a change of heart, maybe kind of understands that what he's doing is wrong. But I kind of think that ultimately it's just he realized he wasn't going to get what he wanted. And he's so I don't know. We'll discuss about that more. Fabian's one of those characters where, like, I know a lot of people aren't like downright hateful towards him, but there's a lot of wrong that he does. He's not a good guy.
No,
And I just want to make that clear, though, because it's just, you have to think about this. May is 16 years old, and he is about to love bomb her. Like, sorry, spoiler, but like he is about to love bomb the crap out of her and do a lot of very textbooky power dynamic grooming plays towards her. Just instead of it being done more like in a story, teaching that in a story with like a romantic relationship, this is more of power, just straight up power and strength in crime fighting. But there is also still that, like, this is being done for a reason because he wants something from her, and it's not okay. So we'll talk about it more next episode. But before we talk about the next episode, let's get to your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so I love this arc. I really like how, you know, May has generally with her villains, when she first meets them, she gets the upper hand. This is the first time that May is so soundly defeated, and this shakes May up because Otto and the Goblin are the two greatest enemies of Spider-Man. I would put Venom at a distant third, especially now after the Donny Cates run. So for me, to the Lady Ock arc, like mini arc that we're going to be going through here in these next few issues, is a really good. She's a really fabulous villain. Again, she's one of my favorites to be brought from the 616, and we see her in modern day. In the modern day for the MC2, and so I think octopuses and spiders just work together, and so this was a very good full introduction to the character. Not saying that Otto was bad before, but obviously Otto was dying, so for her to take that mantle on, I do like the relationship with Dr. Jade and Carolyn here. For those that don't know,
they're gal pals. It's not explicitly stated, but it's kind of clear that when they say they're partners, it's in more than just business.
Yeah. There's a lot of subtext there.
They're just gal pals.
Are they?
They're just they're gal pals.
They're really close friends.
Really close. Very close. It's like the Victorian friends, like the women.
Yeah. But it's also funny because of how clearly one side
over the other.
One side or the other, like Jade, like adores her, and Carolyn's like,
no, Carolyn's the one that calls her pet names. Jade's the one that's just like, yeah, this is my partner. This is my business partner.
Yeah,
but
business.
Like, Carolyn is like, honey, baby,
my love, or
like,
which honestly, it really makes sense. Even if you go back and read the Clone Saga issues, like, when you think about her relationship with Stunner, like, it's very there's a lot of subtext to it too. But obviously Stunner is more into Otto, and so it's kind of like it's
a weird thing. I mean, in all fairness, for all we know, Jade isn't that into her and is using her for power.
That's true. And the fact that
backstory here, and like maybe poor Carolyn is being strung along.
Poor Carolyn. But yeah, so I love her. I love again the artwork. We I try to say it at least once an episode. It's just fabulous, and
Yes.
they do such a great job. And I know Ron goes back if he's not watching us live. He goes back and watches the shader. And so, hi Ron, if you're watching, your artwork here was exquisite. Yes, it is that more cartoony style that kind of defines this era.
I like it. I know people get onto it. I mean, like, what was it? I posted a side by side on Reddit using it, and like what was it? I think we had 100 comments, and about half of them were newer Spider-Man fans going, "What's going on here?"
Yeah,
Because the body proportions are a little weird. I get it.
Mhm.
I get it. I get it. But like that got annoying because I felt really bad. But like it's sometimes comics don't have to always look realistic. It's fun when it does. It's fun when it doesn't. This is kind of one of those times where it's like the action, like it moves so.
Oh,
I've talked
well,
about this.
even
Like it's just that it flows well. Like I don't see the issue. Like is it
right.
a little Tim Burton-y? It gets that way. I'm not gonna lie. But it's fun and it is cartoony, and that's okay because it just flows well and it goes really well with the story and all the
Right.
action sequences you need. Not everything has to always be a certain type of
Not
art.
okay.
It
Not
just needs to
everything
be
has.
clean and nice and
It's all still
gorgeous, and it
clean.
is. So there.
Yeah, yeah. There's a dynamic nature to it too, and Ron had made mention on a long lost interview that got brought up. He goes, there was sometimes where I'm like, man, that girl needs to eat a sandwich. He was making her way too skinny, and he goes, I was going through some stuff at the time. We don't know what that is. That's all he said. He was going through some stuff, and so
What?
it was affecting his. He said he said it was affecting his art. He felt like so. I like it. To me, it looks like I'm reading the Spider Girl animated series, which is something that I would love to see done. I always felt like Spider Girl would be just a perfect series to adapt into animated form, and I would use
Yes,
these.
yes and no, because like nowadays I don't think that it would fly. Like I don't know where it would be pitched to because it is a slightly more. This is more for preteens and teenagers in the cartoon
Right.
form. This is a lot like that early 2000s, which I think is what we were thinking of because of course that came out during that. So like this is like the start of Danny Phantom, which would be more adult.
Right.
Spec.
Yeah,
As much as
Spec's a great
I
example.
feel like I can never bring that up because the fans are going to come demanding more, and we've already laid that to rest. Let it die. God,
If I had my soundboard right now, I'd be playing Greg again. But no, we've definitively made that clear on Spectacular Radio. If you have not listened to that show, go subscribe to it on your favorite devices like Spotify,
like
Google, and Apple Podcasts.
I'm pretty ambivalent, but the thing is like if a creator says there is no more, I'm not doing it. Take that as the word. Like stop going, oh no, if I just keep pushing it, it'll happen. Because no, it's not. It's not happening. Stop. Let it go.
Well,
Like
and
cue
people
the Ferris Bueller in credit scene. Like go home. It's done.
right. And the funny thing is like people were like, well, Young Justice got brought back, and I'm like, it's apples and oranges.
They also wanted it back. Like the issue is they weren't done telling the story. Here they felt it was okay. Like it's been 10 years. It hasn't been just a year.
Right. I mean, there's so much, and I've talked about that on go look on my Twitter feed because I mean Kelly has seen it.
I know. Yeah.
I go in pretty excruciating detail when people would talk about that. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I don't know. Like animation's in this weird phase right now.
Yeah, it doesn't work right now. Like I'm not saying that it couldn't work. Like if someone did a Netflix series or something where
right.
someone could binge it, I think it would be better.
Yes.
But ultimately, like I think the way like this reads and stuff, the way as we're rereading it, it's very much not CW, but the old school WB, UPN kind of show, which is something CW does want to bring back. So I don't, and they've hit the mark on some HBO stuff, but of course,
Right.
where this is with Sony and Marvel, I don't see that necessarily happening unless it's something like Amazon would want to pick it up, which I know that they picked up Silk, so I don't know. But it's also, let's be fair here, if they won't let Peter really get past like age 22 story-wise, they're not letting this happen. It's just not something that they're going to do. I think ultimately Marvel marketing doesn't see this as fit because of the fact that they want Peter to kind of stay younger marketing wise. It's always going to be a hard sell. I know we always talk about it and we'll wax on about it and like I'm down to dream, but to be realistic without being mean or being critically unfair about things, ultimately at the end of the day, stuff like that is made to make money. And marketing has deemed Spider-Girl as not making enough money for a very, very, very long time, or a very hard sell, I'll put it that way, when they want to branch it out into other genres. Unless she's Petra Parker or Anya.
Dude, I gave.
Get into again next episode.
Anya. Oh man, next episode.
Poor Anya. I'm gonna have to because I'll have to defend that poor character. That character does not deserve the hate and the lobotomy she essentially got when she finally got the title Spider-Girl. I think everyone was done dirty there, honestly. Like that's just a whole
Julia was done dirty. Maddie was done dirty. Anya was done dirty because she got all this stuff foisted upon her, and of course Mayday was done dirty too. And so the poor Anya, that editorial mandate
could go
was
on
bad.
and on and on about how if you're a female spider character in Marvel, there's a good chance that people are trying to kill you at every chance and turn.
Yeah.
It's not safe to be a female spider character in Marvel. We need to protect them at all costs. It's really bad. It's really bad. It is,
but it's true.
You go, especially stuff with like you said, stuff with Maddie. It's all of it's just there is a fight, man. It is a constant fight to put out another issue. I think Carla Pacheco, who's running Spider-Woman right now, literally was begging people guys, if you really want to keep this going, please stop torrenting this. Please stop getting scans. Please buy it. And even I had to come back on that and be like, yeah, buy it. Because if you don't buy it, someone's going to say it's not marketable and nobody likes it. And then it's going to end. And then you're going to sit here and wonder, well, why is it not still around? Because you didn't buy it. Unfortunately, this is a consumer market. You need to buy it for people to see. That's how this works. You can't just torrent it and they understand. This is not HBO putting out their own episodes of Game of Thrones to see how many people torrent. It doesn't work like that.
You're right. And it's one of those things where the fan base of this book got it, but that does not happen every time.
Yeah.
And so what are we going to cover next episode, Kelly?
Well, okay.
Or did we want to take some comments?
I was going to take comments, but we'll go into the next episode, and then we'll kind of go back around to those reviews and emails and voicemails, which there are none. But we'll talk about that as we answer y'all's questions. So next episode, we're going to go through Spider-Girl 71 through 74. Again, another short-ish episode. But hey, we're only basically after that episode, it's 75, which, oh my God, time flies when you're having fun, guys, I think. Or, maybe we're just all going crazy. I know I am. But we're going to see Spider-Girl and the Avengers fight an invisible army. We're gonna meet the Claw. Oh boy, the Claw.
Oh boy.
And we get the introduction of a mysterious woman in Normie's life. So mysterious that even he doesn't know about it. Wonder who that could be. So keep
Strokes
following
beard.
all of so keep following all of our socials so we can let you know when the next episode will be, and we will be seeing you guys soon. Obviously, I wrote that thinking we would be ending the outro, but we're going to go back
Yeah.
to questions and comments for you guys.
Yep.
Because we do want to hear from you and talk to you, and because we haven't talked to you guys in a while. So what
Venkman
did y'all
is
think about today?
Venkman is someone who didn't mind cartoony stylized artwork. He also feels the same way for people who keep wishing for Back to the Future Part 4. Stop asking, it's not going to happen.
I mean, okay, this is a really weird tangent, but I feel like if Michael Fox could manage it, it would happen.
Absolutely.
I think a large part of that is just what he can put on himself and what he can't. And a movie just takes up it's too much.
Yeah.
But I want the ride back. Can we riot to get the ride back? Because I don't want to ride the Simpsons ride anymore.
Yeah, for me, like, I'm a huge Back to the Future fan, but between Michael J. Fox's health, frankly, Christopher Lloyd's age, and Zemeckis's just unwillingness to even think and consider it, I just don't like. People need to like let it be. It's a great trilogy.
Yeah, well, I mean, also too, I think that ties into a lot of stuff, and that's something I was kind of writing on Twitter, which this is actually like an HHN thing, but I was kind of writing it on Twitter how I'm excited for this year. So like just this off tangent, we're going to Halloween Horror Nights, and it's considered an icon year because it's a milestone year. They started in 1991, and basically anytime I've turned the age that they were celebrating, how old, how long they've been going, it's always lined up, which is one reason why I'm joking. If they can do HHN 30, because last year didn't happen, I can turn 30 again. This can happen. This is what's happening. And anyway, they created original characters with background and like really rich, detailed history and lore in these original houses. And lately, the last few years, it's been very much IP stuff. So like, very much like Walking Dead, Stranger Things. They brought back Ghostbusters, which did originally was in the parks with a Sony agreement as a show for a long time, and then they ended it. So like that to me is a little bit, that's more of like a weirder side arc where that's okay to me. But like there wasn't a lot of that original content that they started off with. So this year is very, very icon heavy, and very almost everything is an original house except for Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Hill House, which I think that's okay. Like, that's a perfect amount. You have 10 houses and 2 of them are IPs to get newer people in, but the rest is these original icons that help make this event what it is. And so my thing is with that is like, in the land of reboots and the land of sequels, constant reboots, constant whatever, to be able to have a continuing story for that long in a park and have original content in that park constantly is pretty cool. And I wish, it's pretty unique at this point. So I kind of wish more people would think to do more original content and more original work than just constantly doing a reboot and a sequel. And I mean, like Bill and Ted, that last Bill and Ted, I mean, it's cute. I enjoyed it for nostalgia, but ultimately, was it needed for their story?
No. Yeah, you're right.
Does it help or harm their story? Like, because there's a mixture of both in there. Dumb and Dumber. Take that one. That was horrible. That sequel was god awful.
Both of them.
Yeah. Well, we don't talk about the one in the middle because that was not done by the right team.
I know.
Anyway, Let's see. I'm trying to think. I think honestly, like the only thing that's like really worked reboot sequel wise has been Candyman. I don't know if you've watched that yet, the new Candyman, or seen the original, but the original is really good. But Nia DaCosta, like this, what she's come up with, if she has this vision and is taking this from that movie in '92, like, because I'm trying my best not to spoil the new Candyman, because it is a reboot, but also it is a sequel, and it does directly tie into the first movie, and you definitely need to watch the first movie to watch the sequel. But if she's gonna bring this kind of A game to, if she's gonna bring this kind of A game to the Marvels, since she's doing the sequel to Captain Marvel, I'm really excited for it, because it seems like she definitely wants to make sure she knows her source material and does the best she can, because this blew me away in terms of what I was expecting for this, knowing it was kind of a reboot. But that's always very rare, you know.
Agreed.
But yeah. So
Yeah. Thanks, Neil. He says coming in for a bit, just wanted to say hi and that you're doing great. Considering you go back and watch the beginning of this episode there, Neil, and you'll. But
I think he's just trying to be nice because he stole Dark Ages from me for satellites.
Oh, so there's a bit of a rivalry now going on. So, yeah, Venkman also makes a comment, says there's some movie that should have stopped after a certain point, but just kept going long past their sell-by date. And that Bob Zemeckis, Bob Gallo both made it very clear they do not want to make any more Back to the Future movies. And yes, he'd much rather they bring back the
Let's
ride.
just bring back the ride. Instead of part 4, let's rally around bringing back the ride. I mean, what was it? I think I can't remember. Oh, no. Now I know what it was. It was when they were changing everything up, they also took E.T. out of Hollywood for that Simpsons ride, and Steven Spielberg was like, if you take E.T. out of any other park, I will literally like go after you guys. Like, you can't do this. Which is why E.T. will probably stay in the park forever in Orlando. But yeah, no, I think everything that the Simpsons replaced is just like a slap in the face. And I like the Simpsons.
Oh, thanks, Neil.
Okay, thank you, Neil.
Thank you for the good vibes. But yeah, no, I'm excited for you to be able to do those Hollywood Horror Nights and get that semblance of normal. It's been a very long. We've known each other over a year and a half.
There's still, I mean, there's still going to be, obviously, like, masks are still needed. Even the scare actors in certain parts of the haunted house will have to wear masks. There's going to be vinyl.
Right.
They're doing everything they can to be safe. Obviously,
Right.
I'm going to make sure I'm tested before I go down. Like, truly tested, not just a rapid test. Even though rapid tests should be fine, they should be good enough. But especially because it's Florida, because they're not going to ask. But I'm going to get a real test, even though I'm vaccinated, to make sure that's good. I'm going to I'm going to buy some rapid tests from like Costco or Walmart or somewhere. Take them down with me and make sure I test before I go anywhere that's super crowded. Just so I know, for my peace of mind, constantly wear a mask, constantly be safe. It's just more, it's always going to be a risk, especially in states that, like what DeSantis is doing and kind of forcing everybody to pretend it's not out there, because we've seen their cases surge, especially in that state. And it is a horrifying virus, and I don't want to ever be, even if I'm vaccinated, I don't want to be a carrier that's asymptomatic and possibly give it to somebody. And I think that I would hope everybody would want to feel the same. But
without going
not everyone.
Without going too personal, I have seen somebody survive on an event, and if you've never seen that before, you don't understand what these people that catch this virus are can go through. It is the most excruciating thing for the family, and it's an excruciating thing for obviously the individual. And you know, I'm as conservative as more conservative than most people. But on this, you know,
Well, I mean, you can
think
have
about your
conservative
actions.
you can have conservative views and still care about people. I think that that's
Yeah.
ultimately what's been going on lately. Is it really shouldn't matter what side of the political party you're on about, like, when it comes to saving other people's lives. Like, if you
Mhm.
think of yourself as someone who would help people when they're stranded on the side of the road, or help somebody in danger, you should want to be responsible about this,
Right.
because you could seriously, like, save or destroy a life. You could save or destroy your life. You got to actually think about it. And it's like, the science doesn't lie. There's no, like, misinformation really at this point. There was in the beginning, and I will say that. And if that's what people are confused by, I'm sorry. Most scientific studies don't have daily debriefs. So that's kind of a thing but that's because of how terrible this thing is that we were getting those.
The entire
Um,
world was caught flat-footed, and as a result, there was a lot of things that were done and said. Um, there may be things I disagree with in terms of how people are reacting on in both ways,
okay, but
but
also
but
don't
but,
take
but
horse dewormer though. Like, seriously, just get the vaccine. Pfizer is FDA approved. Don't take horse dewormer, please. Don't
yeah,
do that.
yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, get talk to your doctor.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
what
Yeah,
I
exactly.
talk to your doctor. Find out if the vaccine's good for you. If it's not, follow your doctor's advice.
I mean, you can even talk
Yeah,
to your pharmacist. Like, and
yeah,
the pharmacist is the one that's administering it 9 times out of 10. You can go to CVS, you can go to Walgreens, and you can ask them about it. They're going to ask you a questionnaire anyway to make sure you're not allergic to anything in there.
right,
So they're supposed to watch you for 15 minutes, make sure you don't have any kind of adverse reaction.
right.
So it'll believe me,
Because
I mean, not I think
people
most of our
have.
friends yeah, I think most of our
Yeah,
friends and fans and people listening probably do understand this. I think that most Spider-Man fans and Spider-Girl fans are very smart people, and regardless of whether, you are super conservative or super liberal or don't care about politics at all, like, you can at least understand that this pandemic has caused a lot of grief for everybody in every
uh,
way, shape, or form. And, the best thing you can do is to get, honestly, the best thing you can do is get the vaccine. If you can't get the vaccine, definitely do what you can to mitigate
yeah,
your exposure and, you know, exposure of others around you, because the way this stupid thing works is you never know. You never know if you're asymptomatic and a carrier. You never know, you know, if it is just going to be a very mild case. You don't know what you're going to wind up having lingering symptoms, like my mom.
uh,
Um, even almost a year into it now,
yeah,
of first getting it, because she works in a hospital. And, or you could wind up on a ventilator. Like, you just don't know. And they don't have any kind of, while they're doing studies, there is nothing that they can see that can predict what kind of outcome you will have.
exactly. And so there's just so much we still are learning, and until things get a little easier, just be responsible. With great power comes great responsibility. We make the joke, or we it becomes a cliche, but it's true. And
Yeah.
um, didn't expect to go down this this road,
Yeah,
but
no, it's very weird. I was just talking about vacation, and then you said something, and now we're on this. But, like, it takes over our lives. It's a part of daily life now, and it's kind
yeah,
of, I feel, I'll put it this way. I'm very glad that this conversation happened, because of the fact that, like, I know that we have very different views on politics and
Very different.
certain things, very, very different. And the fact that we can agree on this and understand that like science doesn't lie, and science, and a virus does not care what party you are on. And we can both agree that like Joe Rogan is an idiot. It's it's
So
it's it at least kind of shows you that like this should just be simple fact at this point. Like
yeah,
please take care of other people. Don't be a dick. Don't be a
don't
Richard.
don't be a Brad.
Take care of people.
Don't be a Brad.
Don't be a Brad Miller, to clarify.
Yeah, Brad
Someone's
Miller.
gonna take. Yeah.
Don't be a Brad Miller.
Let's not start things. Yeah,
Fictional
don't be a
Brad Miller. Yeah, let's make
Yeah.
that clear. But yeah, so next episode, obviously, we're going to be covering the next 4 issues of Spider-Girl. Let us know what you think. Give us your thoughts on on Spider-Girl to us on Facebook, Twitter, Discord, even email or voicemail. The email address is makemymayday@gmail.com and SpideyDudeRadioNetwork@gmail.com. You can always go to r/Spider-Girl, talk about Spider-Girl there, and leave us a voicemail if you like. 818-925-6631. With that, I think pretty much can wrap up the episode there. Like I say, like Kelly said, stay tuned to our social medias. We will let everybody know, but also become a subscriber. We're over 100 subscribers now. Like, share, and subscribe. And let people know that you like the show. Find us on Facebook at Spidey Dude Network. Twitters are at Spidey Dude Radio and at Make Mine Mayday. YouTube at Spidey Dude Radio Network. Share the show. You can find Kelly on TikTok at Make Mine Mayday and Instagrams at KMcDaniel28 and at Spidey Dude Network on Instagram. So thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. For those that are watching us, for those that are listening to us, let us know. Leave us a review on your favorite podcasting app, and we will read about it here on the show. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.